So the Dallas Mavericks have just 180'd. They've just pulled a 180 from everything, like inside sources being like the Mavericks are trading Anthony Davis, to now the Mavs aren't trading Anthony Davis. Like, what is going on? Genuinely, what's going on? It's very confusing right now. This whole thing is confusing, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just confusing. It's all around one of the more confusing things we've seen. And yeah, like the Mavs apparently we're not going to trade Anthony Davis. We want to try to win. Win what? Win what? Genuinely, I want that question. Win what? Because you're not going to make the playoffs in the West. You might get lucky and make the play in. It's between you guys and the Clippers for whichever team bounces back better to win the play in. Or to make the play in. And at this stage, both of these teams stink. Like, you've now got a like teams like the Blazers maybe will drop out. I don't know. But like, what are they trying to win? We want to win. That's why with our number one pick, we put him at point guard, a position he's never played. Make sure he gets next to 0 looks. He has to grab, rebound, or steals, create his own shots. We'll run 0 plays from just stick him in the corner in each wing. Release a statement saying they're not trading AD, but said nothing about not trading D'Lo. Yeah, no shit, they're going to be trading D'Lo. Klay Thompson admitted he's probably going to be traded. Street clothes, I kind of rate this. I kind of rate the street clothes t-shirt. I kind of rate that. Translation, there are no suckers in the league who want to take on a shit contract. What does he know? They traded Luka under his nose. Apparently Cuban's back. Apparently Mark Cuban's back. And I'm like, Mark Cuban being back changes everything. I don't know. Like, Dallas Mavericks never really tanked though, did they? Like, they weren't, when they got the 5th pick, they weren't that bad. Like, they weren't good, but like they weren't that bad. And then obviously Mark Cuban didn't want to trade Luka, and we see how that worked out. I mean, I don't know what pull Mark Cuban has when it comes to this. I don't know how much his whatever he says goes, because it could be a case of, whatever Patrick Dumont says goes, but I don't think Patrick Dumont knows enough about basketball. I think he gave Nico Harrison full reign. I think he's going to give Mark Cuban full reign. Mark Cuban been back 5 minutes and he's already talking. No one accepted our offer, so we're stuck with him. I mean, might be true. Might very much be true, especially with the way things are going. Like, Mavs fined $750,000 in an effort for arresting players undermine the integrity of sport. Like, I will say this though. Like, when people were saying they were trying to lose, they literally tried. It was a situation where they needed to win like their last 3 games to make the play in. And obviously they weren't like they weren't in a position where they were going to realistically make it anyway. They would have needed a miracle 3 games win streak from a team that just couldn't win a game, and then randomly be able to get into from the play into the playoffs, and then best case scenario you're getting the 8th seed and you're facing Denver round 1. And ironically, I was saying, there's no chance of making the finals as a play-in team, but 2023 was in fact the year a play-in team made the finals. So that was an interesting one. But look, I just don't think it's smart. I do not think it's smart that they're not looking to trade Anthony Davis. I genuinely don't think it's smart. I think they should be trying to trade him. And unpopular opinion, everybody's saying Anthony Davis's like trade value is at its lowest. I don't think it's. I think it's at its highest. I think Anthony Davis's trade value is at its highest. And you might be saying, "Oh, his trade value is low." Yeah, no, his trade value is lower than it was a year ago. It's lower than it was 6 months ago. But I don't think Anthony Davis's trade value is suddenly going to get higher. Like, I think Anthony Davis is going to be untradeable very soon. I think you could still potentially get an expiring contract. Like you can probably get an expiring contract, big contract, a young player, and maybe 2 picks. Like if you went to Houston, and I don't know if Houston want him, you could probably get like 2 firsts, and like you probably have to take on Freddie VanVleet's contract, and then one of their young players. Maybe you get a Reed Shepherd to help you out at the point guard a little bit, or maybe you find some way that Houston are going to get some more point guard depth. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, it is very, very it's very much a case where I think if they are stalling on the AD trade, I think kicking the can down the line is just going to make his trade value go lower and lower. I think they're actually not planning on trading Anthony Davis. That is my guess, is that they are actually planning on keeping Anthony Davis. Yeah, that is something that I think a lot of people are surprised about, but I do in fact think that Anthony Davis is going to be a member of the Dallas Mavericks for the entirety of the season. The Dallas Mavericks are going to make the play-in, lose in the play-in. I'll say again, look, the Mavs are currently a game and a half off the play-in. The Portland Trailblazers are going to implode. There's a lot of teams that if you're not going to be in the playoffs, you want to lose this year. This is a year where it looks like the top 4 picks in the draft are sure things. They look like absolute sure things. And then even still, like there are guys later on in the draft, like Abdallas, who looks like intriguing. I don't know how else to describe him, but he looks intriguing. There are a lot of other kids in this draft that I'm like that look good. Obviously, they have the big 3. Caleb Wilson. I think at this stage, are we gonna go big 4? Are we gonna go big 4 and put Caleb Wilson in there? Because he looks legit. There are so many players that look absolutely legit. And then there are players you're just gonna get anyway, like French Halliburton. He's ineligible to be drafted. You can just take him. Like if a team wants him, they can just get him next year. But anyway, yeah, that's all of that though. It is an interesting situation, and Dallas, please just tank. Trade him and tank. Get something. Otherwise, I don't know when you're ever going to be good again.